There's always going to be a shiny object syndrome. There's always going to be a beautiful summit, to use that analogy, in the distance where you're like, oh, maybe I go after it. You're focused, you're in the trenches, you're thinking about your next product perhaps. Things are going well. Most people at this point forget their customers. I would do 2,000 calls a month. 2,000 calls a month where I would call my customers, all of them that would pick up. From 2,000 calls, I think between 800 and 1,200 would pick up. And I would spend 5, 10, 15 minutes on the phone with them, getting to know them, turning them from customers to fans. And then once they're fans, involving them in the future and then in the current problems of the business.
I think you just gave a mini masterclass on how to build a brand.
Yes.
What if I told you that a kid who used to jump fences at 3 a.m. to hustle for discounted fruit would go on to sell his business for $48 million in just 48 months, fueled by sleepless nights, 20-hour workdays, and a rabid obsession with customers, so strong that he made 2,000 customer calls a month to turn buyers into loyal fans. My name is Arjun. I'm the founder and CEO of doola.com, a venture-backed fintech startup in New York City. To learn more about what we do, you can check us out at doola.com. I started a series called the 15-Minute Founder, where I sit down with business leaders and entrepreneurs to unpack the secrets to their success. Today, I sat down with serial entrepreneur and hustler Aaron Spivak, the man who sold his business for $48 million in just 48 months. So if you're looking to launch your business or level it up or scale it to millions like Aaron, you will not want to miss this episode. Without further ado, let's dive in. Someone's starting a brand today, 2025. What is the biggest mistake to avoid going 0 to 1? Let's just say 0 to 100K, like literally getting started.
Adding too many products and not negotiating with your suppliers properly up front, so you don't have the cash flow to buy the inventory, and then you end up in the loop where you can't afford the inventory and you can't afford the ads, and then you have a shitty business.
Okay.
So if I'm a founder starting today, the first thing I'm doing once I like my sample is then testing, not buying inventory, running ads, testing if people will buy as if you have inventory. You can message those 10 or 20 founders after, or sorry, not founders, those 20, 20 customers after, and be like, hey, listen, we don't have the product yet. Are you down to wait? If not, I can refund you. It's okay if they refund you. You're just proving that you're right? Because you're selling online. People are not touching and feeling the product. You're proving that you're right. Great. Once you check that box, you then go to your supplier and you have to oversell them. You have to go and say, listen, we're planning on buying millions of units over the next 2 years. Okay, our business is about to boom. We're talking to Costco, Wayfair, Walmart. This is the opportunity for you to be our supplier. I don't need much from you, but what I do need is proper terms, because I can't give you the money up front like you want, because if I give you the money up front, I'm not gonna have any money for ads. So let's make a deal. And then every PO, you stretch that mark further and further and further. The reason why Hush was able to take $4,000 without all the financing options out there and flip it into 48 million is, one, is we ran a pre-order model, so we make people wait 4 to 6 weeks, which has its pros and cons. But on the flip side is at 120 day net pay to my supplier, which means, and that's, by the way, from when the goods shipped. So I only have 90 days because it takes 30 days for it to land. I had 90 days to sell through the inventory once it was in my warehouse. We were converting that at 60 days. So I had a negative cash conversion cycle of 30 days, which means I've already sold, delivered, past the return period, because we had a 30-day return period, before even sending $1 to my supplier. And I was able to flip that over and over and over again. Most people, what happens is they figured out they have a good product, and they realize they go to war with their suppliers. They don't have the money. He wants the money up front. You can't afford it. And then they go to these agencies, Clearco's and Wayflares and all these things. They take 8 to 9% and then 12% of daily sales. You have nothing left. And then you have to go raise money. And then by the end of it, you have a relatively good sized business, but you own no equity and you have a bunch of debt and you hate e-commerce. And it all becomes back to the beginning when you made bad deals. And that's the beauty of entrepreneurship, is you get the opportunity to take the accountability for the deals that you make. It has nothing to do with Zuckerberg's ads or whatever. It's all on you.
That's a fire example of ounce of preparation, pound of cure right there.
Yeah, that's a good example. Yeah, I like that analogy.
Okay, so you win that deal up front, you negotiate the terms. Let's call that 0 to 100K. So you pick one product, you validate it, you sell it before you actually have the inventory, you negotiate the terms with the supplier. Let's say 100K to your first million. Mm-hmm. What's the biggest mistake or thing to avoid at that stage?
People focus on their ads and they forget about their customer. So at a certain point, your ads start to work, your customers start to buy, you have good word of mouth, you found a couple winners, things are going well, you're improving your conversion rate on your website, you're negotiating your 3PL, you're focused, you're in the trenches, you're thinking about your next product perhaps, things are going well. Most people at this point forget their customers. For me, what people forget is that I would do 2,000 calls a month, 2,000 calls a month where I would call my customers, all of them that would pick up. From 2,000 calls, I think between 800 and 1,200 would pick up. And I would spend 5, 10, 15 minutes on the phone with them, getting to know them deeper, which is really important, turning them from customers to fans, very big difference. And then once they're fans, involving them in the future and then in the current problems of the business. So a big story about us is one of my most famous LinkedIn posts is we sold 3,000 pillows in 24 hours. All the marketers jumped on. They're like, what was the hack? What was the email flow? What was the headline? What was this? What was that? And I was like, you guys are you missed it. I've been preaching about the same thing over and over again. For 6 months, I've been calling and emailing and texting and sending out Cali links to, at the time, our 15,000 customers. And I said, listen, I want to make a pillow because I know you're sleeping with a pillow and it's not our pillow because we don't sell a pillow. Would you be down to just talk about like what a perfect pillow for you would be? They love it. People love to talk about themselves. Oh, Aaron, I want it big, small, cooling. I want it to have like hold moisture for my face. I want it to be easy to wash. I want it to be memory foam. I want it to be down. Okay, I got it. I'm collecting all the data. And then every month I'd be like, okay, guys, just a photo. Check out the sample I was making. Me at the factory making the pillow. You guys said you wanted this. Oh, keep going. That's amazing. Boom, send another email. Hey guys, we're gonna vacuum seal it so we can save a couple bucks. Would you pay 120 for a pillow, or would you pay 100, but you have to wait a day for it to expand? Oh, we would pay 100. Great. All you guys said 100. Hey guys, so I figured out a way to incorporate memory foam and down so you can also make it fully adjustable. Check out this new thing I made. Wow, that's so cool. Fast forward to launch, I had 11,000 people waiting to buy this product that they had to say. It's the most important thing that people forget, that they had to say. That's how you build a connection. Best example I have is I went to this coffee shop on the way to my office, and then I would get a coffee, and then there was another place I'd get the avocado toast. The first guy, I would go to him and be like, listen, you saved me 15 minutes if you just add avocado toast to your menu so I don't have to go and wait in line at this other guy. He's so busy selling avocado toast. He's like, no problem, man, no problem. Next couple of days, he has avocado toast. I buy it. It's terrible. It sucks. It's awful. But I still buy it. I didn't complain. I paid full price and he gave it to me for free. Over time, he got better. It was actually a pretty good avocado toast. I felt like I had to say. I started bringing my friends because I didn't get it for free. He didn't give me equity. He didn't say, yo, bring your friends. He didn't, nothing. Just because he listened, I felt like I had a piece of that story. And our customers felt the same way. And that's how we launched product after product after product after product after product with them. No one does that.
Okay, there's savage consistency, savage clarity, savage volume now. I gotta ask you just a bit tactically because everyone says talk to customers, be obsessed. Some people might be doing 1 to 2 customer calls per day. If I'm doing the math, 2,000 in a month, you're doing like 60 to 70 per day. Is that how did you structure that into your day? Like, did you block
the team,
time?
so we would do like 4 at the time. It would be like 4 of us. Yeah, so we all sit there and the most important thing for us was always be at the forefront of our customers. You don't have a brand until you have 1,000 fans. 1,000 customers, 1,000 fans, people that are when they go out for conversation, they talk about the product, right? We opened our first retail store in the largest grossing mall in the country called the Yorkdale Mall. They don't have a store in there that has less than 25 stores, not a single one, right? Our first store, okay, they allowed us to open. We messaged every single influencer and every single media outlet to come, right? This is a big deal, right? This is like the first time they've ever allowed this. Every single one responded saying we can't come because apparently Aloe is opening up the same day. I reached out to the mall. They're like, oh yeah, Aloe's opening up November 1st as well. And there's 3 doors down from us. I'm like, are you kidding me, guys? Like any other day they could have chose. Like Aloe decides to come to Canada and have every single influencer goes there. Opening day, Aloe had 1,100 people, which was at the time a Yorkdale record. Yorkdale's the mall. We had 1,900. They had 1,100 influencers. We had 1,900 fans. We had people that drove 3 to 4 hours to come and see us. We had people that flew in from Halifax, which is not a close flight from Toronto. We had people come from all over to the point where I'll never forget the chairwoman of the board that actually bought our business. First time actually, she was in our store, just like whatever. It was a whole thing. And she walked in as I was signing someone's blanket. I have a photo for it. Maybe we included in the B-roll. I'm literally signing it with a permanent marker. This guy's got to sleep with my signature on his blanket. And she said in 30 years selling sheets, pillows, mattresses, they're the largest sleep company in the country. She's like, I never would have bet on anyone asking someone to sign in permanent marker their bedding. And I was like, that's the difference between customers and fans. We have fans. And the way we did that was we connected on a one-to-one level with them over a long period of time.
You kind of matter-of-factly said we committed from 5 p.m. to 1 a.m. to make this thing work. Candidly, when I hear that and I hear from a lot of people starting, you don't see results and you give up or stop early. How did you stick with it? Or hey, from the first night, stuff just started working and you had the momentum pushing you?
Twofold. One is for some people, they would have quit because it might have not worked the way they wanted it to. I'm a huge believer in celebrating your wins. And I do it every single day, even till today. Like, for example, I just came off the plane. I went on the plane. I always manifest 1A, okay? I have to sit in 1A, like that one seat. I don't know how I choose it. And I get on the plane and it was 8A, so I was 8 rows back, which is fine. And I get on, I sit in my chair, and out of nowhere, the stewardess comes to me and she goes, the person beside you, actually her husband is at 1A. Do you want to switch? And I was like, no way. Of course I want to switch, right? And like, I was so happy. And like, again, something really small, but I'm paying attention to it. And you have to do the same thing in your business. We made our first sale. We probably lost money on that first sale. We celebrated. The next day we made 3 sales. We literally went for dinner. We probably lost money on that dinner. We celebrated like crazy. The next day, 4 sales, we'd be texting each other till midnight. Some people would be like, oh, it's not fast enough. It's not big enough. But we celebrated every single win, every single milestone, every single accomplishment, every single review, every single customer testimonial, every email that absolutely anything we did that worked, we made sure to celebrate it because it builds momentum. And when you don't have momentum, you're pretty much dead in the water. And I spent all my time building momentum for us and finding ways to remove it from everybody else. And that's what helped us actually build a momentum that eventually carried us to the numbers that are so exciting. But like our first month was 20K in sales. Like for some people, that's like, oh, dead product, not worth it. For us, we were rich. And that's the most important. It's the mentality as we start to build and understanding that things do take time. They do take a tremendous amount of time. We were in one way lucky. We invested $4,000 and sold it for $48 million in 48 months. I can sit here and tell you how we did it, which I will, but it's not the truth for everybody. What's more likely to happen is you sell it in 96 or 100 plus months. And that's the reality that people should be targeting.
It sounds like you have a practice of gratitude. Clearly, you didn't get complacent. You didn't get 20K and say, okay, you celebrated the win, feeling rich, this is amazing. But you didn't stop there. You kept pushing. And a lot of people, you don't need to push, right? That could be life-changing for someone. How do you balance the daily gratitude of celebrating the win with let's keep pushing? How did you then go from, hey, we're at 20K to 48 million?
There's a ton of challenges along the way where you get to decide what you're made of. And I think ultimately, one is obviously building momentum. And 2 is understanding from the very beginning what the end of your story looks like. So we were very clear on day one, Lior, my co-founder, we sat down and we said, this is how the end of our story is going to look like. This is who we're going to sell to. This is what they like to buy. So we're going to reverse engineer what they like to buy and we're going to build towards that. And then on year 3, we're going to spend an entire year going after them, making sure we're on their tables, making sure we're at their conversations, connecting with their board members, going to all the events that they go to a point where our 3rd year, the CEO of the company that purchased us, not only did I know where he lived, but I knew where his office was. And I bought all the billboards on the way to the office for him for an entire year, to the point where we eventually connected with him. He's like, I'm seeing you guys everywhere. I'm like, I know. That was intentional. So most people, I invest a lot now and we have a community of founders and stuff like that. But for me, the most dangerous founder is one when I go to them and I say, so how does it end? And they say, well, I can keep it because we're very profitable and it's a good lifestyle business. I can sell it if the right offer comes around, or maybe I'll sell some of it so I can take some chips off the table. And like they start giving me all the options of how it ends. Like, cool, this sucks. You suck, right? You have no idea what you want. And that applies to everything in life. Imagine you're in a relationship with someone. They say, okay, so is the goal what's the goal with us? Well, we could get married, we could break up, or maybe we just like stay friends, or maybe we'll be boyfriends. Like no girl will stay with that. They'll be like, this guy's out of control. But people do that to their businesses, or they do that with their health. What's your health goals? Well, I could get in really good shape, could also get fat, but like I'll eat sometimes. Like, where are we going? And for us, we were very clear from the very beginning. This is the end of our story. Anyone that joined us along the way knew the end of the story, and it was no surprise to us when we sold. that we sold and for how much and who bought it. We were very clear.
I think you just gave a mini masterclass on how to build a brand.
Yes. Exactly how you build a brand.
Hope you guys enjoyed this conversation. I certainly enjoyed chatting with them, and you can find the full video on my channel. As you can tell, these typically go over 15 minutes. Now, we have more interviews just like this coming live soon, but I also want to share a behind the scenes look at my life starting and scaling Doola, a venture-backed fintech startup here in New York City. That includes how I run my life, the challenges the team faces, how we've raised venture capital, and more. So please like and subscribe to the channel for more content just like this. Hope to see you soon. And if you're looking to start and scale your business from anywhere in the world, check out doola.com. Thanks so much. See you next time.